All right, my night outers. We're going to have an interesting night, we'll call it. I am at the controls. Tony Jones is here. He's running the soundboard. However, due to some technical difficulties...
Stupid technology.
Damn computers. Well, anyways, the computers are down, so I'm running this off my laptop, which I also have all of my own information on for what I got to talk to you guys about. So if things get a little bit on the screwy side, I'm going to apologize ahead of time.
It can't be any worse than the shows we've done in here when we've been, half asleep from being up all weekend.
or the drunk episodes.
At least now we can blame it on technology.
That's it. The dastardly computers.
Lack thereof.
Anyways, I'm going to start off with a tale of woe. Now, I've put myself and mostly my stomach in the line of fire for everybody that's listening in, so you don't have to go through some of the trial and error that I have to go through. However, for the first time, and as long as I can remember, it finally hit me: food poisoning.
Oh, that's the worst.
Now, I will spare you the vivid and morbid details of what actually happened.
Or the sound effects.
But you can understand what has happened. It came out of, everywhere. So, and now here's the sad part, the scary part. Now, most of you know, weekends for me especially, I am just flat out. I had a free Sunday. I was just chilling out, relaxing, early in the afternoon, getting ready to come to do the show. And this is last Sunday. And I just wanted to make a little bit of pasta. Now, being as busy as I am, and I don't look in the refrigerator for more than...
Wait, you gave yourself food poisoning?
Yes.
Wow.
That's the scary part. Because, you see... Like I was saying, I don't look in the refrigerator at all. I open the door. I know where the juice is. I grab that. I pour myself a glass of juice. It goes back in the fridge. I couldn't even tell you what colors are in my refrigerator right now. However, in the back, I opened it up. All right, I'm going to scavenge for food. My wife wasn't home. I see a pot of soup in the back of the fridge, which should have been the first indication it's in the back of the fridge. So I figure, you know what? I'm going to make myself a little bit of pasta with the broth from the chicken soup that's in the back of the fridge. I smelled it. Smelled good.
Sniff test.
I did the sniff test.
Yep.
I looked at it. There's nothing fuzzy on the top. It looked like soup is supposed to look like when it's in the fridge. So I sucked up some of the broth. I put it in the pan. I boiled the pasta. I'm eating the pasta, and it was like flipping a light switch. I was fine. I was fat and happy. I had a full belly of pasta. I'm going through my music. The next minute, I am sprinting, for lack of a better term, down the hall.
10-yard dash.
Because it wasn't a matter of if it was coming. It was coming. It was just a matter of how bad the explosion was going to be. So, again, I'll spare you the details, but that's why I did not have a show last week, and I was supposed to, and I apologize.
I just assumed it was from, a bad area restaurant. I didn't realize that you was self-inflicted.
Yes, it was self-inflicted. That's the embarrassing part. But in full disclosure, I have to tell you, I have been to a lot of real scary places, and never have I gotten food poisoning. Yeah. I did it to myself.
I mean, and with technology and reviews and Yelp, restaurants really do have to be on point. If someone gets sick at your restaurant, nowadays, with all this technology that we know and love,
you might as well close.
Everybody's going to hear about it. Yeah.
So that's one of the first foremost details I had to bring out. So I apologize for that. Now I am going to take a complete 180-degree turn, and I'm going to talk
Thankfully.
I'm going to talk about a place that I recently was contacted by because they got a couple of upcoming events that they want me to get out there. Now, this is a place near and dear to my heart because this is where I started DJing 25 years ago. Club Fantasies. Yes, it is a gentleman's club. They do events that, it's adult entertainment, like for anything else. However, September 26th, later on this week, they're doing a naughty schoolgirl night.
Oh, mama.
So break out your tartan and plaid skirts and make your way down to Club Fantasies September 26th. Now, that's just definitely a place, one of the shows, one of the events you want to go to. But the real one that I am definitely going to, that I have to go to because, well, I'm pretty much committed to it. It is the Halloween party.
Oh, yeah.
It's Thursday, October 26th at Club Fantasies. Costumes are encouraged.
I thought you were going to say costumes are optional.
Well, they are optional. They would like you to wear clothes, but it can be a rather bizarre arrangement of clothing. And most of the girls there, I know for a fact, are into cosplay because, well, I talked to them about it, and, well, they're all into it. So, again, October 26th, Club Fantasies, Providence, Rhode Island, right on Harris Avenue. You can't miss it. It is the teal green brick building on, you can see it from Route 10 in Providence. It says right across the top in big red letters, Fantasies. If you miss it, you need a dog to walk you there. So,
yeah, if you missed that building, chances are you shouldn't be behind the wheel.
you know, it's happened. It's happened. People have missed it, but not so much me. I think I have autopilot to get to the place. So those are two events, Club Fantasies. And another thing I wanted to bring out, and again, it's like a dichotomy, something you're not supposed to do, but it's really worth doing. At Club Fantasies, they have an all-day buffet.
And they put out, like, this isn't your typical strip club buffet, right? They put out a spread, right?
It's not like the 5-pound bag of magic meatballs and a jarred sauce.
And a couple bags of chips and some dip.
Yeah. No, they're putting out veal, peppers, and mushrooms. They're putting out beef stew, homemade meatloaf, which is amazing. They do stuffies. They do pork chops. I mean, they do really good food. And the best part is the owner of the club is actually the cook. So he really knows what he wants. He cooks like he's going to make it for himself. Yeah. He just does it for a couple hundred people. If you want to check out their website, clubfantasies.com, Club Fantasies on Facebook. They have all the details there. Make sure you go down, check them out. I'm going to go back to a little bit of music, and this is kind of weird for me because I'm running the music as well.
And we got to remember to turn our mics off, too, so we don't get in any trouble.
Yeah, that's true. Now, we're going to leave here with a little bit of Tom Hansen. The name of the song is Albany. We'll be right back.
Your smile get it right. This time you'll sleep tonight. And every time I close my eyes and I see Cora and me forever in Albany.
I am
All right, my night outers. That was Frantic Endeavor, name of that song, Me Versus Me. Before that, we kicked off that little two-song break with Tom Hansen. Name of the song was Albany. Now, most times I don't give updates like this, but I'm going to say it because, well, I think it's pretty cool that Tom Hansen, who is down in Florida right now, is listening in. So, Tom, actually, I don't know if he works on a boat, lives on a boat, but he's in Florida, in Miami, and Irma just passed through, so it's glad that you're even just around. Thanks for listening in. If you guys want to let me know you're listening in, you can hit me up on Facebook /My Night Out. Also, if you want to get your word out there, advertise your businesses. If you want to get just some music out there, hit me up, email mynightoutradio@verizon.net. Facebook /My Night Out, like I said. Also, Instagram, Twitter. You can get me at DJ Psycho Eddie. Now, I had a little bit of free time while I was recovering this week. On Thursday, I was feeling pretty beat up, but I wasn't sick anymore. Just my body was reeling from the throes of food poisoning. So, how do you recover the best? When you've been drinking all night and you've been sick all night, the best thing for you is something greasy, something meaty.
Bickford's.
But, well, I go for just straight meat. Meat in tube form, meat of ill providence, depending on whatever you want to call it. I went to the butcher shop. JC's Butcher Shop right here in beautiful downtown West Warwick. And I got to tell you, they have, it's not a huge selection, but it's a very good selection.
Yeah. Quality over quantity.
Exactly. They have 3 or 4 different kinds of chorizo, chorico, however you want to pronounce it. They have linguiça. They have one of my favorites, which a lot of people kind of get weirded out on, which is morcilla, black pudding, blood sausage. Yeah, even Tony's if you're at home making that wrinkly nose face, that, oh my God, how it is phenomenal.
I believe they call that a grimace.
Like I said, the wrinkly nose face. Don't get all college student-y on me. But, yeah, I went down there, and they got some prepared foods as well. They have the big cooler of salt cod, a typical Portuguese butcher shop. Now, of course, being the person who was recovering, I went very lightly.
Right, yeah.
Denote the sarcasm there.
You don't want to jump right back into it.
Oh, no, I did. I went both feet first. I got the extra spicy chorizo.
Oh, God.
Just a small link.
You don't have food poisoning if you cauterize your butthole.
I also got the linguiça. I also got the kielbasa. I also got the morcilla. Now, I did not eat all of this in one sitting.
Sounds like the owner's kids are going to college through the Eddie Vasella Scholarship Fund. Jeez, they should put a plaque for you up in that shop.
One link at a time, I will send your kids to school. However, they also have prepared foods. Now, if you go to the Portuguese feast at all, you know of caserla. Shredded meat, Madeira wine. It's
Portuguese delicacy.
Oh, my God. It's like life itself, essence of life in a stringy meat form. So I got some of that. And then, and this is where my taste for the bizarre just runs headlong into the deli case. I pointed to a container. It just looked interesting. I said, "What's that?" And all he said was, "Beans." Okay, what's in the beans? Well, they're white beans. And I just waited for a few seconds because I know there's a "and" coming. Now, there was basically the scraps. It was pieces of pig skin, pig snout, some of the meat, and of course, spices and everything else. So I had to try that. And you know what? Texturally, if you're not a fan of chewy, the pigskin may not be for you. However, the flavor was absolutely amazing. The caserla, like I said, was absolutely amazing. Now, JC's really stands out for me because they smoke all their meats on premise. So as I was driving up, probably about 2 blocks away, I can smell the smoke coming from their all very
That must
own
be good for
smokehouse.
business.
Oh my God. I could have just closed my eyes and stared towards the smell. It was so intoxicating. And I pulled in a really nice guy. He's actually, somehow there's a relation with Matos Bakery right in West Warwick as well. I believe that it's family or one of the sons or whatever. Don't quote me on that. I don't know what the exact relationship is. But if you're in West Warwick or even anywhere in Rhode Island, you want really good kielbasa, linguiça, chorizo, morcilla, or just the prepared foods, you definitely want to go down to JC's Butcher Shop. Now, as I'm going through, and there's a few other things that I tried there, they have a lunch menu because now they are actually serving lunch on premise.
Nice.
They have the Portuguese soup and salad. The soup is, collard greens, potatoes, beans, chorizo, and a little bit of pasta. The salad is actually a bacalhau salad, which is the salted cod. It's rehydrated with chickpeas, onions, arugula, olive oil, red wine, and hard-boiled eggs. You can get any of their sausages, bombero style, which is basically over a fire, and they cook it right there. St. George cheese, fried St. George. How can you go wrong? Fried cheese. It could be fried shoe, and I'd probably eat it. And of course, they do a few more of the specialties. Befana, which is a pork loin with sausage, sautéed onions and peppers, potatoes, and a little bit of a garlic aioli, spicy marinated chicken. They also have the codfish croquettes. They have a pretty expanded menu here. For a place that hasn't been open that long, they have almost a cult following quickly. I think it's because of the smoke that flies through the neighborhood.
It's like remember the old cartoons where someone was having a pie on the windowsill and the smoke would go out and make the come here finger, to the cartoon character.
That's it. And trust me, when you go in there, depending on what point in the day, when they open the smokehouse door, because it is, from what I understand, it is an actual door. The entire store fills with just a little bit of smoke. It kind of reminds me of like back in the 80s and 90s when you could still smoke in a nightclub. Well, the next morning when you walked in the next morning, you just had that just haze. As you look, that it has that, but the smell is the whatever wood they're using to smoke the meat was, oh my God. I'm making myself hungrier and hungrier as I go, but you know what? I do it for you guys because, well, I'm a fat guy and I like to eat and I like to talk. So we're going to go take a break here. We're going to leave here with a little bit of Blindside Thunder. The name of the song is Say Goodbye. We'll be back in a minute.
Stay
My Night Outers, that was Beyond Blonde. Name of the song was Bearing My Bones. Before that, Say Goodbye with Blindside Thunder. Now, again, putting myself in harm's way. This time is a place I've been to before. You probably heard me talk about it. It's an all-you-can-eat place, but it's not a buffet, which is right in my comfort zone. It's barbecue, but it's Korean barbecue. Mm-hmm. So you basically sit at a table, you order the different types of meat that you want, and the grill is in the middle of the table. It is a gas grill, steel plate, similar, kind of like a cross between regular barbecue, what we know as barbecue, and teppanyaki because it's a solid plate. If you're lazy,
and just hot as hell, right?
Yeah. No, there is a gas flame underneath that would incinerate just about anything. So when you get there, you sit down. They bring out the kimchi, 4 different kinds of kimchi, a salad, which really they might as well just keep in the kitchen for me. Then you order the meats. They have 2 different courses to order from. Course A is your more basic stuff, chicken thighs, marinated beef, marinated pork. I mean, they get a little eclectic on the course A. They do the beef intestine. They do an uncured pork belly, which is really, really good, by the way. And if you go on Facebook, at Sura1 Johnston, Sura Korean Barbecue, I do not have their website. It's on George Waterman Road, 300 George Waterman Road in Johnston. Actually, the website, sura-ri.com. Check them out. If you go into the course B, that's when you get into the more interesting, we'll call them. Your shrimps, your seafoods, octopus, whatever. Now, this is all you can eat.
I like the sound of that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they have it's very thin pork ribs, but instead of cutting them along the rib, they cut them perpendicular or across the rib. So you have what looks like a little pork chop with little eyelets of bone in them. So you got to be careful when you eat it so you don't choke yourself. But unless you're into that,
bust a tooth.
Yeah. But 90% of the meat, 99% of the meat is completely boneless. They even do shrimp with the shell on. You also get side dishes like scallion pancakes, rice, fried dumplings. They do the shabu shabu or the hot pot. They do a lot of really good, eclectic, and very authentic Korean food. It's one of those places you have to look around to really understand how good it is and how authentic it is because, well, if you go into an Italian restaurant and you just see like a general mix of all different races and what have you, you understand it's a good restaurant. But if you go in there and everyone has a vowel for their last name, they're using their hands to talk, they're screaming, they're drinking wine, that Italian restaurant is really authentic because they're all Italians in there. Well, today when we were in Sura, my wife and I looked around and with the exception of like 1 or 2 other people, the place was packed. 70, 80, 90 people in there. Now this is lunchtime. And I don't think we were the only ones that were non-Asian.
Wow. With
the exception of like 1 or 2. And the turnover, you go in there, you eat, you get out. Before you're even out of the door, someone is already in your table. Yeah. So it is a very good place. Everything is very fresh. I do lean towards the kimchi. I do eat the kimchi like just to break up because you just can't keep eating just meat. As crazy as that sounds coming from me. But you got to break it up with something. The kimchi is the red kimchi is very spicy, but not too spicy. Really good flavor. Then they have the bean sprouts with the just a little bit of sesame oil on them, which are excellent. So you look like you're winding up to say something.
Now, I was watching one of the local food shows the other day, and I had not heard about kimchi except for you. and they were serving up a peanut butter and kimchi sandwich, and I was wondering what you thought about that combination.
I've already had food poisoning once this year. No, I mean, it could be good. Peanut butter would go well with the spice, because I've had a spicy peanut butter, which was really hot and was really good. It's basically the crunch from the cabbage and the kimchi, the spice in the kimchi, mixed with a creamy or a crunchy peanut butter would actually go very well.
And I think it was, not your typical sweet, off the store shelf peanut butter. I think it was a peanut butter they were making in-house, so I'm assuming it was more of an actual peanut taste than what we know as peanut butter.
Yeah, I honestly, I would go for it. Joking aside, you try everything at least once, with the one or two exceptions. And here's the other exception I'm going to drop on you right now. September 29th, what is it, this Friday? Yeah, this Friday, 6 to 9, they're doing a vegan cheese and wine sampling. Now, the only thing that's coming to my mind is vegan is you do not eat any animal products whatsoever. You do not consume them. So how do you make cheese without dairy? I don't know. But they're doing a wine sampling with it. So
I can get behind.
Oh, I could 100% get behind the wine. Not a single animal has died while making my wine.
Just someone stomping on grate?
Yeah, that's it. Hopefully they don't have, athlete's foot or something.
The gout.
Now, this is at Madeira Liquors, 174 Ives Street in Providence. It starts at 6 o'clock, goes from 6 to 9. The pictures they have up, it looks like cheese.
Yeah.
Actually, a friend of ours from the old B.O.B. days, WBOB, Mr. Kenny Nardoza is going.
Oh, wow.
Because from what I understand, Kenny...
Straight and narrow?
Well, he's on the straight and narrow, sort of. But his... I don't know if it's his girlfriend or his wife at this point, is a vegan cook or a vegetarian. Yeah, I'll go with vegan. If I'm wrong, Kenny, correct me, and I will definitely post a retraction on the fourth page of my website. So
below the fold.
So Kenny Nardoza's going. He's actually the reason why I found out about it. So
you mean you didn't find that on your own?
Vegan does not usually get into my comfort zone or radar. So we're going to take another break here. Band I caught out on Warped Tour a couple years back. The name of the band is Never Say Never. The name of the song is Boom. We'll be back in a minute.
Pandemonium blues, we gotta put the dog down before hell breaks loose. as children laugh and play. Everyone is standing there, not hearing what I say. A parallel dimension, separated from the fray. Then lights open up the sky. I'm swimming in a rainbow, and stars are floating by. Lights, flowers blooming in the night. The moon is in sunglasses, 'cause you make it all so bright. Picture me in a castle, locked inside the tower. The pounding of the pendulum grows louder every hour. The sweetness of my solitude is slowly turning sour. The loneliness, the emptiness, destined to devour. Lights open up the sky. I'm swimming in a rainbow, and stars are floating by. Lights, flowers blooming in the night. The moon is in sunglasses, 'cause you make it all so bright. How can it be you always see that I believe, just when I'm about to forget? How can you undo this tangled web that I weave? That everything I break be yours to Picture me in total silence, singing in a choir, shouting through the stained glass, slowly floating high. A cappella angels until the heart's desire. To the world their melodies, they sing by candlelight. Lights open up the sky. I'm swimming in a rainbow, and stars are floating by. Lights, flowers blooming in the night. The moon is in sunglasses, 'cause you make it all so bright. Lights open up the sky. I'm swimming in a rainbow, and stars are floating by. Lights, flowers blooming in the night. The moon is in sunglasses, 'cause you make it all so bright. Lights open up the sky. I'm swimming in a rainbow, and stars are floating by. Lights, flowers blooming in the night. The moon is in sunglasses, 'cause you make it all so bright.
All right, my night outers. That was Jessica Prouty in, I think it was 95 Hyde in that incarnation.
Great band.
Yeah, Jessica Prouty band was excellent. 95 Hyde was excellent. Jess, if you're listening, if you want to do a solo, I would definitely want to back you
Yeah.
on that. You got a hell of a voice. Definitely want to do that.
I'll even play drums for it.
Before that, we had Never Say Never. The name of the song was Boom. I caught them on Warped Tour a couple years back. And I got to say, I'm just getting through some of the stuff I had given to me, almost a year ago,
Yeah.
year and a half ago. It takes time to get all the music out there. But if you want to get me some music, My Night Out Radio at Verizon.net, all one word. Hit me up. Even if you just want to tell me that you like my music or you like my show or you don't like my show and what you would change, I may not change it, but as long as I know what ticks you off.
Especially since one of the bigger over-the-air radio stations here locally that actually play good alternative rock music has, how do they say it, given up the ghosts. Our submissions and our hits and our listenership has just gone. It's been about 3 weeks now since they gave up the ghost. Everything here has gone through the roof. So we're happy to fill that void here locally.
That's it. Definitely, we want to tell your friends, neighbors, My Night Out Radio every night, 8:30 to 9:30 on rifreeradio.org. What time is your show, Tony? Do you remember?
I'm in front of you, so I'm 7:30 to 8:30.
7:30 to 8:30 for the Tony Jones show. It's like the power block right after dinner. You're putzing around the house, doing what you got to get done, working out in the garage. Tune us in. We will be more than happy to entertain you for a few hours, like we have, tonight.
Listen, there's nothing on TV, and there surely isn't anything on the radio, so you might as well listen to us instead.
You know, the sad part is, now being an Uber driver, I listen to the radio a lot. Now, I've been able to switch through radio stations, Rhode Island, Mass, and Connecticut. I have 18 presets. You know, I can go through all 18 presets and hit the same music. Whether it's a rock, alternative, supposedly rock, supposedly pop, it's all the same crap.
Now, these are the same people, not necessarily the frontline on-air folks and the producers, but the back office, the suits. These are the same people that are lamenting the fact that radio is dying.
Yeah, I can't understand it. You know, if you want to make yourself stand out, do something different.
That doesn't suck.
I had the opportunity to go through Newport during the Food and Wine Festival yesterday.
A little expensive for my taste, but
yeah,
looks like a great
it was
event.
a little bit on the spendy side. Fortunately, I didn't go to any of the events. I just toted the people around, and I heard a lot of feedback. Now, one of the major wineries that was sponsoring the event had their regional representative here.
Right, yeah.
And this person, covers everything from New York to Maine, parts of Canada, and she's been all over the country for events like that.
Yeah.
And she is saying that Rhode Island, Newport especially, but Rhode Island puts on a hell of a show.
Yeah.
It is really coming into its own as a foodie destination, more so than even Boston and Portland, Maine, and some of these places that are known to be a foodie destination. Rhode Island is outshining them in the hospitality field and in food in general.
Listen, when one problem of an industry, which is happening right now, is the fact that they can't find enough workers. They can't find enough executive chefs, and that's a good problem to have. Yeah.
Well, the only other thing I got to talk about before we get out of here, this Saturday coming up, it's September 30th, Providence Metal Fest 4. A good friend of mine, Jay Burnt, lead singer for Kilgore. Kilgore is actually performing the ballroom stage along with Life of Agony, Let Us Pray on Your Deathbed. This will be the last show. If you ever liked Joint Damage, this is their last show, from what I understand.
Wow, already?
Justin is not going to be fronting them any longer. So, and of course, this is a two-stage, 20-band show. So I'll be there for later in the night for some of the bigger bands because I've got work to do, and it's kind of weird going to a show that I'm not DJing. This will be the first one I've done, and I can't tell you how long. So I'll get back to you on that. But we're gonna leave here with 1031. The name of the song is "I Will Not Drown." Thanks for listening, everybody. I'll catch you later.